At first, it felt magical. The way they looked at you. The way they listened, like every word you spoke mattered. The way they made you feel like the only person in the room. It was intoxicating. Almost like a dream. But then, it shifted. One day, they're warm. The next, they're cold. One moment, they're showering you with affection. The next, they're distant, critical, or gone without a trace. You tell yourself, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe if I just try harder, it'll go back to the way it was. And that cycle, that roller coaster, is why narcissistic love doesn't just feel confusing. It feels addictive. And the truth is, what you're experiencing isn't love. It's something psychologists call a trauma bond. And once you understand what that means, everything starts to make sense. Why narcissistic love feels like a drug. Let's start here. Have you ever noticed how the good moments feel almost too good? That rush of happiness when they finally text you back. Or when, after days of distance, they suddenly act loving again. That's not an accident. It's chemistry. Every time they give you attention, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical released when people gamble, drink, or use substances. It feels like a high. But then, they withdraw. They go silent. They criticize. They pull away. And suddenly, you crash. That crash makes you crave the high even more. And when they finally throw you a small piece of affection, maybe a compliment, a kind word, a tiny gesture, your brain lights up like fireworks. It doesn't matter that they just hurt you. In that moment, the relief feels so good, so powerful, it's like you can breathe again. That's not love. That's a reward cycle, and it's the same mechanism that makes slot machines so addictive. You never know when the next win is coming, so you keep pulling the lever, over and over, hoping for another hit. The cycle of trauma bonds. This is the hidden trap of narcissistic relationships. It always begins with love bombing. They flood you with attention, compliments, affection. They make you feel chosen, special, almost high on connection. Then comes devaluation. They start pulling back. They criticize, mock, or give you silent treatments. The warmth that felt so safe is suddenly gone. But just when you're ready to give up, they throw you crumbs. A text. A sweet gesture. A brief return of the person you fell for. That tiny bit of love feels massive because you were starving for it. Your nervous system grabs onto it and thinks, this is it. They're back. But then, the cycle repeats. Love, withdrawal, crumbs, repeat. And the scariest part? Over time, your body adapts. Your brain literally wires itself to crave the highs and survive the lows. It becomes less about the person, and more about the pattern. You're not chasing them anymore. You're chasing relief. Why it's not your fault. Now let me be clear. If you've ever found yourself stuck in this kind of relationship, it doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're foolish. And it definitely doesn't mean you loved wrong. What it means is, your brain did exactly what it was designed to do, survive chaos. Think about it. If you grew up in a home where love was inconsistent, where you sometimes got affection but other times faced silence, criticism, or withdrawal, then this kind of cycle doesn't just feel familiar. It feels like home. And so when a narcissist comes along and repeats that same pattern, your nervous system thinks, this is love. This is what connection feels like. But it's not. It's survival. That's why trauma bonds are so powerful. They don't just trap your emotions, they trap your biology. And breaking free isn't as simple as just walking away. It requires healing on a deep level. How to break the bond. So how do you break it? First, awareness. You name it for what it is. You stop calling it love and start recognizing it as a trauma bond. That shift alone begins to loosen its grip. Second, withdrawal. Just like any addiction, there will be withdrawal symptoms. You'll miss them. You'll crave them. You'll feel like you can't breathe without them. But that pain doesn't mean you're supposed to go back. It means your body is detoxing. Third, boundaries or no contact. When you cut off the supply, the cravings eventually lessen. And with time, your nervous system begins to calm. Fourth, healing your nervous system. Grounding practices, therapy, safe friendships, journaling, somatic work, these are the tools that rewire your body to find safety and peace, not chaos. And finally, choosing yourself. Every time you pick your peace over their chaos, the bond weakens. Every time you remind yourself, This isn't love, it's addiction. You reclaim your power. If you've ever felt addicted to someone who was hurting you, please hear me. You are not crazy. You are not weak. And you are definitely not alone. What you felt wasn't real love, it was a survival cycle designed to keep you hooked. And now that you see it, you can break it. Because here's the truth, love should not feel like a drug. Love should feel safe, calm, grounding. You deserve that kind of love. And it begins with giving it to yourself. If this video spoke to you, let me know in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear right now. And make sure you subscribe, because the more you learn about these patterns, the sooner you'll see them for what they are. And when you see them clearly, they lose their power. You're not addicted to them. You're healing from them. And that healing? That's your freedom.